Welcome to Whispering Pines. This is a farm, a dairy, a cheesery. We have a cheese-making facility, and we have a little store. And at any given time, we can have 100 to 300 animals on the farm. We milk Jersey cows, dairy sheep, the only licensed dairy sheep facility in South Carolina, and dairy goats. And we make a lot of products. I make hard cheeses, soft cheeses, a lot of kefir, a lot of yogurt. We have meats as well, and there's just about anything we haven't tried, and that's kind of anythingtomakeabuck.com kind of thing. But we love what we do. We're passionate about helping people get started as our family gets older. Our goal is to start more people in raising healthier, happier, more productive livestock, and mostly focusing on dairy sheep and dairy goats. Some Manchego cheese, which is really a sheep milk cheese. We make yogurt, and if people have sensitivities to cow dairy milk, then they can usually utilize that. We do a kefir that has just healed so many people's stomachs with the great probiotics that exist in it. And then the fat with sheep milk is very calming and fulfilling, so it helps people sleep at night, it helps babies stay settled. It's a great product, and I think that's really it's becoming well known, and more people are purchasing it and really enjoying it and seeing the benefits, the health benefits from sheep milk. And that's another reason I've been always fascinated with sheep. There's not an animal mentioned more in the Bible than sheep, and I just love my sheep and talk about my sheep all the time. And the product is just amazing. It's easy to work with. I can get more cheese out of my sheep milk than I can out of my cow milk or the goat milk. And it's a great product, and people are really enjoying it. Now we've got Shelby here, and she's got some young dogs with her, and she's teaching them what to do in a pretty safe pasture. As far as with this much canine intervention, there's not going to be any coyotes coming around. There's just too many scents and too much noise. Shelby's older, she knows what to do. She's real good with the animals. She's got just some older sheep in here that aren't going to run. And the problem is you start these young guardian dogs, and you got a sheep that starts to run, and it becomes a chase scene, and they could be good dogs. They just need to be started correctly, and it does take training, you know. Some of them fall into it real good, and some are better than others, but you have to work with them, and you got to correct them if they're doing something wrong. And sometimes they just get excited, and then the sheep run because they're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm being chased, even though they're not. And but then it turns into a chase. And we needed some younger dogs because our other dogs are getting older, and the lifespan of a guardian dog isn't super long, and they're really not too good until they're about 2 years old, after they've had a season and a half of lambing and kidding and being fussed at and everything else. So
starting to finally understand how it works.
How it works, yeah, what you're supposed to do. And you know, they all have a lot of natural instinct. We got a big black one out there, you can see him right there, that's Baxter. Him and Bailey, and Bailey's like the mom of a lot of these dogs. One time there was a sheep caught in a briar, and those dogs got on either side of that sheep and grabbed that wool and that briar and pulled the briar loose and let that sheep free up. And I want to tell you something. That's by design, because I don't care who a trainer is. They're not that good. They can't teach a dog that. That's a design. That's how that dog's DNA is, and it's amazing. That's the master there that does the training, and did that just natural. Well, we try to help everyone in the community with their livestock if they need help, or if they just have questions. As far as the economy, we've been supplying a ton of products to these stores that like to support local farmers. And we do that through some of the stores locally, as well as the farmers market, like on Saturday morning. And there's a lot of regular customers, and you'd be surprised, and I consider our operation small. I don't want to go into the big Whole Foods and all the big stores. I would rather stay closer to the people and let the people be able to relate back the way they enjoy the stuff and the different products. I know we got people coming from all around just to get our cow milk, and I think it's because we have a nutrient-dense pasture. It's a golden color. It's about 50% cream, and people just love it. And we make a yogurt from that cow milk. And I got to tell you, you know, we don't have that many cows, and I'm making like 100 yogurts a week and still can't stay caught up with the demand. And so I know that we're making an impact, and we're doing good products, and we work hard and really care about our products, and I think it shows because people, one of my cows, the mama cow, is Buttercup, and so the product line I designed was Buttercup's Best, and people will call me like it's a particular kind, you know, we love Buttercup's Best yogurt, and they talk about it all the time. We talk about Buttercup, and then Buttercup's daughter, Mulan, she's also Buttercup's Best because she's their daughter, so it was a great little product line, and it just soared, and people love them. They're actually great little mascot type cows. They were 4-H cows. They're just a pleasure to work with. Anybody can milk them, and kids can hug on them, and they're fine with it, you know. So they're really good ambassadors for Jersey cows, as well as creating a great A2 kind of a product that people are really enjoying. The last couple of years, I've been making all the cheese myself. I made 5,000 pounds of cheese in about 5 weeks. So we were, that's the greatest thing is that we've improved the genetics on our sheep, so there's more milk coming out of each ewe, and they don't want to slow down. They want to keep pumping that milk out, and their parasite resistance. There's been entire seasons we didn't have to do any dewormer, which slows down production, and they do fine with it. And then, so I'm real proud of how the genetics have improved on the dairy sheep. They're easier to milk. They're more parasite resistance. They just do really good in all areas of life, and a pleasure to milk. And then the hardest thing is having enough help to make it happen, because as your business grows, you need more help. You can keep it small, and then you just have to sell off a bunch of stuff so you don't make it harder for yourself. But if you want to grow, you need help to do it. And I think that's a struggle with every farmer across the U.S. We're all getting older, and you know, it's a lot easier to sell your farm to a subdivision, because then you can take it easy and not have to worry if you can survive. Not be too happy doing that. You're happy on the way to the bank, but then the next day and the next day you're thinking, what have I done, you know? And so there's that. There's always a good with the bad. And you know, we love what we're doing, but sometimes you just get old and you think, man, I don't know if I can keep doing this. And I think that's the struggle. Babies, what you doing? Yeah? It's muddy out here. I'm so sorry you gotta be in this mud. a lot of people can't handle their sheep, you know, because they're a little bit wild. But we try to keep them gentle. And
they seem to be very gentle.
People say, well, I want to get meat sheep because I want to raise meat. And I tell them, with these dairy sheep, you raise giant babies that are fat. And with sheep, it's not the same thing as, like, you know, nobody's raising a bunch of Jersey bulls for meat, because it just doesn't work as good. And like my Saanen goats, they don't work as good for meat because it's hard for them to get fat. But sheep, they grow faster than goats, and they can sure put on the weight. And there's not anything wrong. You can take what you call a dairy ram and use them for meat. If they're good age and good body condition, good weight, not a thing wrong with that. So when you're doing dairy sheep, you can be doing meat as well. Because what are you going to do with all the rams? You got a dairy.
That's right.
Rams aren't that important. I mean, they're important because you need to have good breeding stock. You need to have a good ram stock so you can have good genetics and all. But the ram's job is over quickly.
Yeah.
And he has dual purpose as well. So this pasture, we have moved the horses out. They've taken every bit of usable forage, and you got nothing but some weeds left. So what I would do is come in here and take my bush hog, since you're not going to affect the forage at all, and I'd knock down the fennel and different bitterweed and all that before it goes to seed. And that could halt it a little bit, because I'll tell you, I've had some pastures that are remote that I haven't done anything with, and they needed some help with their soil and all that, and they had nothing but weeds. And then the weeds, you know, you think, oh, how cute, just a couple of little yellow flowers. And I'll tell you something, they go to seed, and there's more of them, just like that thistle will come in there. And it's not good if you can knock it down before it goes to seed. Now that's diesel and that's effort, but everything goes from a state of order to disorder, and if you don't use your creative energy to fix it, it's only going to get worse. And that's just the way it is. That's natural law. You can't fight it. You just got to learn to work with it, and that's how you do it. And Chris was talking about those earthworms back there. We're very concerned on the soil. You're going to hear me talking all about forage, but the things we do with the forage helps the soil. If you just, and there's people that do it, and it's fine because that's their business. If they plant a field for hay and pull the hay out, and then plant and pull and plant and pull, they're pulling a lot of the nutrients out of the soil. Now, they can't help that. And used to, farmers would have a year of the Jubilee, and every 7 years they'd let pasture rest. And it'd bring up something, they could harvest it, and then sometimes they just lay it down. Sometimes they turn the cattle loose at the end of a season before the next season and let them go through there, and cattle make a real good mess, and they eat everything that's edible and then poop it back out. So they're kind of regenerating what happened, and from the putting the nutrients back in the soil, and then they turn it over and then start again. And sometimes they'll plant stuff that brings back the nitrogen to the soil. There's a lot of ways they can help their land, and most people do. Most people are really good stewards of their land. They know this is what God gave them, and they want to do their best to take care of it and make it better, because they're doing it for themselves. They're doing it for their future generations. And most people that work the land love the land and try to do the right thing. A lot of people don't know and want to do the right thing, and that's why we try to offer these videos and this teaching and courses and stuff, because people need help. And people are so far removed from nature, and for sure from agriculture, and not only do they not know where their food comes from, but they don't know how to take care of the land, and they want to start raising their own food. And it's a good environment for raising children, where the children can grow up working with animals and working with their hands and going outside and doing physical things and just out there in creation, having a great time. And it's better for the mind, it's better for the body, and it's better for our culture, because people think more like real stuff when they are out there doing real things. And I don't know that we want to raise our kids to be laborers, but there's something to be said with a good work ethic. They're going to go places, because there's going to be a lot of employers that would just die to have somebody that's worked on a farm and knows how to do it. That and Chick-fil-A, and you got it all right there.
That's right. Well, sweat equity is what built this nation.